Kaito Takagi was typical a high schooler with level 1 skills until he summons a Valkyrie named Sylphy and a devil named Luceria to aid him in dungeon exploration. Initially scared of goblins, Kaito grows stronger with their help, leveling up and acquiring new skills. In no time, Kaito had explored and killed orcs and monsters that he once thought were impossible to defeat. In a dream, young Haruka Katsuragi is having a conversation with her father, who promised her that they would have dinner together tonight. Then, she wakes up. Meanwhile, Kaito and his party are in the dungeon for the competition and suddenly get teleported onto the 6th floor. At the gate, there is a store where participants can equip themselves before fighting the monsters. Kaito is amazed by their magic bags, as they are very expensive. The others tell him that their parents bought them the bags. With that, they get ready to proceed to the 7th floor. There, they meet the dungeon's custodians, who keep the dungeon clean. Kaito asks them about their levels and is impressed, as they all have higher levels than him. Suddenly, a stone golem appears, and Airi single-handedly kills it with ease. Kaito is shocked by her strength. Meanwhile, a bronze golem appears. Hikarin uses her magic attack, Earth Wave, and Moriyama, along with her cat companion named Snatch, also attacks the golem. Hikarin casts another spell, Firebolt, and Airi lands the final blow, killing the bronze golem. Kaito is impressed by their abilities. Then, an iron golem attacks Hikarin and Moriyama from behind. Kaito tries to defend them, but his arrow has no effect. Airi also attacks the golem with his staff, but it has no effect either. Hikarin and Moriyama attempt to strike the golem with magic and snatch, respectively, but they also fail to cause any damage. Kaito then brings out his magic sword and asks the girls to distract the golem. He stabs the golem with the sword, successfully killing it. Later, they all go to a cafe and talk, getting to know each other better. Airi asks Kaito if he would like to join them in the dungeon again. Kaito hesitates and says he will give them an answer later. He is afraid of telling them that he already has 2 partners, Sylphy and Luceria. Kaito summons Sylphy and Luceria and explains the situation to them. They get mad at him for ditching them, and Luceria even complains that he hasn't given her a pet name yet. Kaito calls her Luce, and she likes it. With that, they walk away from him without giving him an answer about going to the dungeon without them. Later, Katsuragi asks Kaito if he is free this Saturday to accompany her shopping. Kaito agrees, and upon hearing this, his friends start teasing him about going on a date. He further tells them that he met 3 girls during the dungeon event, which amazes them, and they begin thinking of going to the dungeon again. In the evening, Katsuragi and Kaito go shopping. Katsuragi asks him to forget about the dungeon for today. Kaito recalls that when they were little, Katsuragi's father used to take them on picnics. Katsuragi then shows him various dresses and asks which one he likes the most, and she buys that dress. Kaito's eyes widen at seeing Katsuragi's cuteness. On the boat, they share some precious moments together, and Katsuragi says that they should do this more often. After that, they go to a cafe and taste each other's smoothie flavors. At the end of the day, when they are at the train station, Katsuragi becomes sad when she sees a father holding his daughter. It reminds her of her own father, who disappeared many years ago when he went to explore the dungeon and never returned. This is why Katsuragi doesn't want anyone to go into the dungeon. Kaito combines his water ball with his magic knife, turning it into a magic ice blade, and slays the golem with it. Sylphy asks him if she is lacking in some way, and says she can improve herself. Luceria gets angry, accusing Kaito of wanting to go to the dungeon without them because he doesn't want to feed them magic cores anymore. Kaito quickly clarifies, saying that's not what he meant. Sylphy then gives him permission to go to the dungeon with the other girls, but she asks why he wants to party with other people. Kaito replies that he wants to improve his skills. Kaito hesitates to call Airi, but suddenly Katsuragi calls him to talk. Kaito asks her how to call a girl he's shy around. Katsuragi shares a story of a time when she was nervous and how her father helped her through the situation. Inspired by her story, Kaito musters the courage to call Airi and tells her that he will join them in the dungeon next time. The next day, they all go to the dungeon together as a team. They easily defeat 4 golems. Kaito even shows them his new magic attack, the Ice Blade, and everyone is impressed by it. Seeing Kaito's leadership, Airi remarks that it seems like it's not his first time leading a team in the dungeon. Kaito, feeling modest, changes the topic by complimenting Airi's fighting skills. That night, Kaito reflects that the girls are on a whole different level than him. They plan to venture to the 8th floor the next day. The next day, Kaito arrives wearing a strange orange jacket, and the girls are amazed by his choice. Suddenly, they encounter a water monster that spits poison on Kaito's jacket, completely destroying it. Furious, Kaito watches as Moriyama kills the monster with Kaito's bowgun. They encounter various other water monsters and kill them all. A group of piranhas attacks them, and they all fight back using their abilities. Kaito uses his water ball and transforms it into a staff similar to Airi's. The intense fighting exhausts Kaito, and he faints. The girls manage to wake Kaito up, and shortly after, Snatch detects a huge dinosaur emerging from the water. The creature attacks them, and they run to escape, but their path gets blocked by stones. With no other option, they decide to fight the dinosaur. Despite using their special abilities, they can't seem to hurt the beast. As a last resort, Kaito summons Sylphy and Luceria. The two attack the dinosaur, successfully killing it. Moriyama runs up to Sylphy, hugging her in thanks for saving their lives, while Hikarin finds Luceria's hair soft and shiny and starts touching it. Kaito explains that they are his servants. After the battle, the girls decide to take a bath together to strengthen their bond, and Airi thanks them. Meanwhile, Kaito is bathing with Snatch. Later, Hikarin gets into a car and drives away. Kaito then asks Airi if she also wants to be an exploration hero. Airi shares that she has trained with dedication since she was little to become an exploration hero. She invites Kaito to come to the Uka Academy open campus, and Kaito agrees. In class, Kaito tells his friends about going to Uka Academy. Katsuragi overhears and asks him about it. Kaito mentions that he's going this weekend and asks if she'd like to come with him. Katsuragi happily agrees. On the day of the visit, Kaito goes to Katsuragi's house to pick her up, and she's wearing the same dress Kaito chose for her during their shopping trip. Kaito blushes. On the train, Katsuragi asks Kaito to come closer to her and thanks him for inviting her to the academy. Katsuragi says she is excited to see the academy. Kaito's friends are also accompanying them. Katsuragi asks Kaito if he is disappointed about not going to the dungeon today. Kaito replies that he is happy to go with her to campus. To that, she replies that there will be no talk of the dungeon today. They were mesmerized by the grandeur of the academy. Kaito starts imagining being at the academy with Katsuragi. Katsuragi interrupts him, and he starts hitting himself to snap out of the daydream about being together with her. At the reception, they all meet Airi and introduce themselves. Katsuragi and Airi both get jealous of each other, as they both have feelings for Kaito. Airi asks them to go around the campus. Kaito's friends ask him how he is so close to Airi. Kaito's tongue slips, and he says they met in the dungeon. Hearing this, Katsuragi gets angry, but pretends to be okay with it. She asks if Airi is the reason they are all together here. Kaito says yes, and Katsuragi replies that she will thank her for it. It was a very awkward situation for all of them. Kaito's friends warn him to be careful about mentioning the dungeon in front of Katsuragi, as she does not want him to go there. They were surprised by the huge modern auditorium of the academy. The academy has lots of clubs that students can join. They sat in the courtyard discussing getting admission to the academy, but they were also aware they would need to study hard to be accepted. Kaito again starts imagining himself spending time with Katsuragi at the academy. His imaginary bubble bursts as Hikarin and Moriyama approach them. They all introduce themselves. Katsuragi asks the girls how they know Kaito. They say they go dungeon exploring together. Hearing this, Katsuragi again explodes with anger, but hides it with cold emotions. Airi then invites them to the cafeteria for lunch. Kaito and his friends are amazed at the quality and deliciousness of the food, and they all praise it, even Katsuragi. Katsuragi asks Kaito if he will join her in bringing drinks for everyone, and Kaito agrees. The rest of them start discussing dungeon exploring. Suddenly, Kaito and Katsuragi return, and everyone gets quiet upon seeing them. They are flustered by Katsuragi's presence. Katsuragi asks why everyone wants to go to the dungeon. They then head to the swimming pool, which reminds Kaito and Katsuragi of their childhood and how they used to spend time together. As they were going down the stairs to the soccer field, Hikarin suddenly slips and Kaito catches her. Everyone is surprised by Kaito's quick reaction. Kaito thinks that all the dungeon exploring is making him better. Moriyama asks Kaito to put Hikarin down, but suddenly a football comes toward Moriyama. Kaito deflects it with an overhead kick, scoring a goal and saving Moriyama. Everyone is impressed. Airi then takes them to the dojo and showcases her skills, but she is nervous because Kaito is there, and she has developed feelings for him. At the end of the day, they all exchange phone numbers and go their separate ways. On the train, Kaito and Katsuragi discuss how great the academy is. Kaito's friends talk about going back to dungeon exploring and ask for Katsuragi's permission. She replies, "Do whatever you want," hiding her true emotions once again. At night, Kaito is walking Katsuragi home. He tells her that he will work hard so they can go to Uka Academy together. Katsuragi asks Kaito who his type is among Airi, Hikarin, and Moriyama. Kaito says he hasn't thought about it and accidentally blurts out that his type is Katsuragi. Katsuragi then questions his friendliness with all the girls, hinting that she didn't like it, and shuts the door. Kaito is left standing there, wondering if Katsuragi is jealous. Later, while in the bathtub, Kaito suddenly remembers Sylphy and Luceria and worries about how he will explain ignoring them for the day. He knows they will probably be mad at him.